how do you stop a team like Digital Chaos on their path?
You can't figure out a team like Wings. You just need to go with your heart. Get the feeling.
Go full Charlie. That's what you want, right? I mean, I think that the Wings opening, they banned the Elder Titan themselves. They had first pick. They took the Wisp. I think this opening just shows that they're not scared, Winter and I were talking earlier. He said that maybe the earliest part of the game is Wings' biggest weakness, but as soon as mid-game rolls around, they're just hyper-aggressive. They know exactly what they need to do. And DC's response with the Timber Saw, I mean, it's a comfort zone pick for them, but both teams looking to come strong out of the game.
Oh, that is his best hero, I think, for Mo.
Yeah.
Like, in this matchup, you don't know what your opponent is doing. You want to pick your heroes that your players are most comfortable with. That's very, very important for DC.
Oh, it's the greatest hero in the game. DC, game one.
Like on top of the Timber Saw just being a comfort zone pick, usually you pair the IO up with like a CK, like a Tiny, like another Strength 4, and it's like really, really hard for them to like play against the Timber Saw because he has so much burst damage against them. And obviously, Kotal, one of DC's stable picks.
It's also, I feel, a bit of a denial here on the side of Wings. I mean, maybe they don't pick it now, but going into the second phase, it's possible that it could have been banned. Obviously, very good against Timber Saw. Second pick.
This is something I was saying that EG maybe could have considered was securing that Sumail pick in the first phase. Wings say, we have the guff. We'll do it in game number one.
I mean, like they already have a Kotal, which is pretty good against the Storm, and now they have 3 more heroes to counter that.
It's like both ways, Like Storm is good against Kotal.
Yeah, of course,
you jump him, you kill him, and it's an Orchid hero, so it's very good versus Timber as well.
Yeah, whoever gets like the initiation on is probably gonna like go out and get like ahead in the fight.
And in the laning phase, it's really nice to have an IO when you're playing Storm. Obviously, its mana cost got increased quite a bit with the Remnant, so being able to abuse bottom and whatnot with the IO is very useful.
Yeah, for Wings right now, initiation, like you said, it's going to be key. So DC in the second phase takes out the Bat Rider, one of the heroes that are very good at dealing with the Kotal as well.
I mean, we spoke about it before. Storm's like weakness is the laning phase. If he survives the laning phase unscathed, then he's like...
I mean, that's why you have the IO for that.
Yeah, exactly. But DC need to make sure that like they destroy the lane. You do not want to have a Storm free farming against those 2 heroes already. Like he will just cause havoc and he will just like destroy the game for them.
Yeah, you want to have Disable as well on top of those 2 heroes. Those 2 heroes has a lot of damage, but you need heroes to disable them.
I mean, what is DC looking for here? Like they could go middle Invoker still, which is pretty good.
I wouldn't mind like seeing an Invoker. I wouldn't even mind seeing like, if we're talking about cores.
Even Lion would be good.
Well.
Lion would be good.
Lion Kotal is pretty good together too. I mean, DC is a team that picked Anti-Mage a lot in the past too, perfect against those 2 heroes as well. Really good with Kotal. You get like a double blink, you get the recall split push. There's so many things that you can do. And like picking the Storm that early, we spoke about it, why it's so vulnerable. You have so many heroes that actually hard counter it. Like Brave, like Wings is really, really brave.
I feel like for DC, it sounds like a bad pairing of supports on paper, but when you look at Wisp and Storm Spirit, Disruptor seems to scream out to me. Is that just a bit too far-fetched with the commitment to the Kotal?
I think it makes their lanes very weak, I feel. I mean, sure, you can have the Kotal in the safe lane spamming Blast One, and it's fine, but I think that Wings would be able to punish that already, because they've only shown really what their middle lane is going to be, and I think that IO pairing with the Storm is still fine for them.
I mean, we've also seen Storm safe lane a couple of times. It's not like as good, not as popular. It's definitely possible though, and definitely Wings can run it. Like if any team,
if anybody
Wings.
would, yeah, it would definitely be Wings.
Yeah, so like you will never know what Wings does until you see the last pick.
I mean, Night Stalker could also be good for either team. Like Vision game, like Night Stalker is good on the Storm's team. You want to see the enemy.
But DC less likely, right? I think it's probably
more on Wings. Yeah.
You never want to pick a Night Stalker when you have a Kotal. It's like completely counteractive each other.
Really good ban here from DC, taking out the Nyx. Obviously, it's very hard for them to run it themselves. It counters Timber Saw and Kotal to a certain degree.
Oh yeah.
So it just destroys both of them. Very good. I
mean, I'm sure Wings is also happy that Hero's out of pool.
But they kind of had to ban it, right? Yeah. Because I think Wings would actually have been able to pick it, whereas DC can't.
Yeah, and with DC could, but Weeha really doesn't like playing Timber Saw at all. It's always Moo's hero pretty much. You know when they pick Timber, it's going to be Moo playing it. Whether it's safe lane or off lane though, DC really likes going aggressive tri lane. So you never know whether they actually want to play it safe or off lane. You'll have to take that into account as the draft goes on. They definitely wouldn't have picked Nyx.
So you don't think support Nyx would be possible if they wanted it?
I mean, Nyx Kotal is kind of like weak. You don't really have like roaming. You have like no aggressive potential at all. I think.
Like some games I saw, like especially the EG game where they ran Zai on the Nyx, he was pretty successful when he was roaming. I mean, it's not reliable, but it could be done.
I mean, it definitely can be done. It's just I feel the laning is going to be a bit weaker, and we spoke about how you kind of need to dismantle Wings during the laning phase because once they get together as 5, the team play is just like amazing, and it's really hard to tear them apart.
And then you're going all in on a mid-game timing, which I think Wings are more than comfortable with. So I feel it would be very difficult.
Banning out the Naga Siren. Obviously both run as core and as support. Very strong hero in DC's repertoire. I'm still really curious what they're looking for.
You need some disable now, right? For the Storm. You need something to be able to lock him down.
Like either disables or like hard bursts that they can like ruin the laning phase.
Yeah, Lion seems to be a really good candidate for that. I know I mentioned it before. Like it's one of Misery's like very comfort heroes as well. He loves playing that hero.
And there's that. There's Bane. Bane can like dual lane middle pretty comfortably. Like 1 plus Bane is really good against Storm plus IO.
Man, Bane, what happened to him?
Man, he's gone, man.
He's long gone.
He's not scary anymore.
There's too many Ogres and Elder Titans walking around, I think, for Bane.
But like as DC, you could probably still pick Ogre, but you don't really want to. Because it's not like a reliable...
Are you sure you don't really want to Black?
I mean, now they have like a pretty slow target stun, right? Like,
Yeah, but still, you need to win the early game. Like against Wings, you don't want to just let them play their early game and just snowball you in the mid game.
Everybody clapping along with the Ogre right there. He's feeling it. This second phase is so precious. They're just beginning to dump right into that reserve time.
No, if you're DC, you definitely need to pick counter cores though to Storm. You don't want to let that guy have a good game, like at all.
I think they're just waiting a little bit later for stuff like the anti-mage that you were talking about, Black, just to make sure they know what the laning phase is going to look like and if there's going to be time for him to be able to get online.
I mean, they could still go aggressive trident, right? Like Ogre, Caudle +1, very strong.
Slardar comes out.
Yeah, initiation, and they're on Dire side. A very, very good pick for their lineup.
Yep.
Secures Roshan very easily as well.
And it addresses one of Storm's weaknesses too, which is like really poor physical damage. With the Slaughter, obviously every core deals a lot of physical damage. And they can run it both as safe and offlane. There goes our hard disable against Storm, as well as IO. It's like super good against both heroes. Really good against Slaughter too. He wants to jump in. You time dilation him and he's going to be useless for a long time.
Oh.
Quick to the silencer is Wings, which is that instant combo breaker to someone like a Faceless Void.
The other thing you can do is you can global on the relocate. So instead of it like going in and potentially having some counterplay, you can just get the kill and get out.
Look at that initiation from Wings. The Storm, the relocate, the Slaughter. I mean, DC has to be grouping up together pretty early this game. They don't want to be split up against Slaughter and Storm and the Silencer.
Yeah, like they can jump anyone, just global silence, and they get out. Like the heroes are really mobile, really fast. The only hero that's not mobile so far is Silencer, but he will be on the back lines waiting to cast global silence.
I mean, you can see that base come on. You just need to pick your ultimate once the price starts.
That's literally what you do as a hero. You farm your Midas and whatever, then you stay at base and press silence.
Refresher.
Yeah, and maybe Aghanim's not as good anymore, but you never know with Wings.
They'll need to get like Lotus or Greaves, BKB. Like they're gonna need a lot of all those items on DC this game.
I really like the Nake's ban, even though Nake's is not that good against Timber and Void.
The Storm.
The Storm as well as the Silencer. Like if they jump anyone, they're just gonna die because they can't do anything. They can't help anyone, and they'll just die.
Yeah, it's like Nake's plus Slaughter. We've seen this combo before, like maybe 2 months ago. It was really popular. You don't have time to react to that. You just die instantly.
This drumming is pretty hype, man.
There's actually also one more thing about the Silencer too, is that in lane, if they're assuming that it's going to be Mood Timber, Silencer is actually extremely good against the Timber. You just get wrecked in that.
But you want to skip Glaives or one, just Harris out of the lane, right?
Yeah.
And then last word, obviously really good against him.
All his abilities are just going to ruin Timber in the game. From the laning phase to the mid game to the late game.
You know, as soon as...
Oh, shit! Game number 1 from Wings says we're going to go for the punt.
They love doing this against Void. They always do it for the save.
This is the chrono counter.
Yeah.
You chrono my teammates, I'm going to hold my teammates out.
And it's going to be a core Silencer too. Off lane, Slaughter, core Silencer, Storm mid.
Yeah, because Punch is definitely support. Eyesight plays the hero.
You do not want to have a carry Punch against the Timber. No way.
They have so much protection for the core Silencer in this game as well with their heroes. Like Punch